G'day, and welcome to the Fearless and Focused Insight series. I'm Craig Tolson. I am the co-founder of Escape Coaching. At Escape Coaching, we are personal growth coaches. We primarily work with people who have lost their clarity, purpose, direction, lost their identity due to quite significant life events such as relationship breakdowns, personal injury, various other areas that people do feel affected and they struggle. Now, quite often we all struggle in silence. It's not usually a common thing that people want to speak out. Um, we seem to bottle things up, which is not very healthy at all. It will actually escalate our struggles, escalate our mental and emotional state. Now, a little bit about me. I am a fitter and turner by trade, so I spent many, many years in the manufacturing industries. And I spent about the last 15 years of my actual working life in mining and earth moving industry as a diesel fitter. I went through a relationship, like a divorce back in the very early 2000s, which caused a lot of emotional, mental strain and stress on me. I struggled quite significantly. Then in 2017, I actually suffered a workplace injury. Now, that workplace injury was a knee injury, which turned out to be quite a life-changing event, a life-changing injury for me, because after 5 operations over 5 years, so I had one operation a year, my body is worn right out. It is not good. I have back problems, I have hip problems, and I do have a new knee, but it's still not nowhere near like the original knee would have been when I was younger. So during that time, I struggled fairly significantly, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally. I had gone through 2 years prior to that, I'd actually gone through weight loss surgery. So I'd lost a lot of weight. I lost over 60 kilo in weight. About 2 years after my injury, due to being inactive and unable to actually do much activity, I started to gain weight again. So that put a lot more mental and emotional stress on me. And I struggled a lot there too. Now, for anyone who's actually been through workplace injuries, they have their own significant area that really puts a lot of stress and struggle on you. So you've got your employer putting a lot of pressure on you to return to work. They don't care about you at the end of the day. You're just a number to them. They want the work done. They don't care how you are. They don't care if you are suffering. Then you have the work cover system in the mix, who are just the same as the employer. So this escalates your struggles, and in turn, it can actually affect your home life, your family life. So we work with people to help them get through all this, to work out ways of being able to get through it, to live with it, to understand it, realize that they can move forward, realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So throughout this series, we will be interviewing various different people. There'll be business owners and there'll be non-business owners. But what everyone will have in common is they've all suffered their own form of trauma or struggles throughout their life. What they're going to offer you is different tips and tricks and strategies and advice on being able to get through things, to being able to make one day better than the day before. Now, you may resonate with some people, you may not resonate with others, but that's okay. You're not meant to resonate with everybody. If you do resonate with someone, awesome. That's fantastic. Each interview will be, at the end of each interview, there'll be, if they're a business owner, there'll be their social links and contact links there. If you feel like you want to reach out to that person, go for it. Please do, by all means. If you want to reach out to me at any time, I'm more than welcome, more than happy to talk to you. Reach out. Let's have a chat. My links and contact details will be at the end of this video. So save them or come back to them later. You know where they are. You're welcome to reach out to me at any time. So, as I say, this is to give back a bit to people. No, it's not a coaching program. It's not going to fix everything. These are just little tips and tricks to help you get through day by day, to help you pick up a little bit. So, as I said, if you want to reach out to any of us, by all means, we're all happy to talk to you. So, what I'd like to say, enjoy the series. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I hope you get some benefit from this because that's the whole idea is us giving you some benefit, some value, some little hints to help you. So, as I said, enjoy, reach out at any time, and yeah, have a great one. G'day, and welcome to another Fearless and Focused Insight series. Today I've got Adrian. Now, Adrian, this is a good name because I love getting people's names right as best as I can, but Adrian Panozzo. Is that right? Close, very close.
Adriano Bacco Panozzo is my full name, but we won't let that hold us back.
No, all good. All right, so thanks very much for joining us today, Adrian. Really appreciate you taking the time. So, as I touch on with all of these, we've all faced our own fair share of struggles and trauma throughout our lives, some more than others. Now, some of us are brought up to not show or to hide our emotions, and some of us hide it to portray an image that we're very strong. And most of us will hide it from our children to save them from developing their own struggles at an early age.
Mm.
It's pretty much just the natural course of life, I guess, isn't it?
Yep.
So, today, yeah, look, I'd love to hear a little bit about you and any particular struggle that changed the course of your life, Adrian. If you'd love to share, you share what you'd love, as much as you want, mate.
Yeah, sure. We had a little bit of a chat just now
Yep.
before we went live, and I just sort of discussed that I had a bit of what the spiritual world people call the woo-woos call, dark night of the soul.
Yep.
In layman's term, my life went to shit.
Yep. Yep.
So I, in a space of time, perhaps a year or so, went from my father dying, losing the job that I'd held for 23 years, moving out of home, and a marriage breakup. And they say that, there's pretty much five things that, the major stresses in life, and that is divorce, job loss,
Yep.
change of career, change of home situation,
Yep.
and or getting married. And
Yep.
typically you can't get divorced and married. So I've hit the quadra what do you call it? Quadrifecta? Not the trifecta, not the quinella,
Yep.
the quaddy. I got the
Yep. The
quaddy, you
quaddy.
know. And yeah, and it sort of landed with me. The job situation is I got it unfairly dismissed, and I fought that
Yep.
out of court, and I settled out of court for
Yep.
terms that I non-disclosure agreement. I can't sort of discuss
Yep.
the terms, but I was quite happy with that because I
Yes.
never wanted to go back to that place.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but it sort of that settlement was a few days before the country went into lockdown, so. The timing wasn't fantastic. I
No.
was
No.
I was from never having entered a Centrelink office to lining up around the corner, and then within a month having a job working for Services Australia as a claims processor, and then
Oh.
going on to being a face to face in a Centrelink office.
Yep.
Yeah, being one of those people. It's like, wow, so the whole world went from me being a shift worker in
Yep.
Port Kembla Steelworks to being a self-employed entrepreneur with multiple businesses through time, some successful, some failed.
Yep.
And yeah, just carving
Mm.
with my fingernails, not by choice, but
Yep.
just by at times desperation, just carved
Yep.
out a new life.
Yeah, rightio. Mate, an adventure and a half from the sounds of all that. So,
It's like,
um,
Craig, I wouldn't. It's an adventure, all right. It's like
yeah.
It's not one that said if you had you choose your own adventure
Oh,
books. Remember those back in the day?
yep, yep,
You knew
yep.
that this was where you were going, but this
Yeah.
is the path you had to take. You'd be like, yeah, no, give me another book.
No, that's definitely a path that you wouldn't choose. No, no, wouldn't. No one wants to choose those ones. That's for sure. So,
Mm.
So all right, pretty pretty full on time. Now, what did you learn about yourself in those dark? Well, you could say there was a lot of dark moments there. There would have been a lot of dark moments. What did you learn
Mm.
about yourself in those darkest
So,
moments?
I don't know if you can see that, but see the goosebumps?
Yep, yep. I can barely see. Yeah,
Those goosebumps are sort of like I call them truth bumps. What did I
yep,
learn about myself? Oh
yep,
wow. I still have a strong dose of humility.
yep,
So bear in mind this is humility and in keeping my ego in check.
yep,
I realized that I was holding myself back. I
yep.
believe the things I believe and the stories that I told about myself held me back. I didn't know that I could be an entrepreneur. I
Hmm.
didn't know I could be a salesman. I didn't know that I could run an NDS, business. I didn't know
Hmm.
that I could be a powerful hypnotherapist.
Yep,
These things I didn't know about myself, and they really had to be, I was going to say plucked from my dead hands type thing, you know? It's like they were forged from desperation, but then as things, when I began to understand that the limited box that I'd been living in, pretty much a miserable life
yep,
in terms of the work that I was doing, and that miserable life just I didn't think I could break out of it. I didn't
yep.
believe, like I remember my ex-wife saying, if you lose your job at BlueScope, which is the steelworks,
Mm,
we're fucked. And I
mm,
believed that. I
yep,
thought, without that job, boom. But within a year I was earning more and doing less,
yep. Yeah, righto. That's the
you
go.
know. And I used to work on call as a firefighter,
Yep.
paid. I used to be a shift worker in Port Kembla Steelworks, and I used to remember, it's sleeting rain 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning,
Mm,
and just being cold and frozen to the bone, and I'm doing that for $30 an hour,
mm,
you know,
yep.
and you know, yeah, without sort of wanting to boast, I guess I got to a point where I had you know, uh, a nearly $6,000 a week turnover business
Mm,
with a 55 to 60% profit margin,
yep.
working a handful of hours per week.
Yep. Yeah, righto. Wow, that's good. Now, you mentioned that there that you didn't know, and this is very common for a lot of people, like most of us, especially when we're going through a lot of, like you say, traumatic times or very stressful times where we're struggling a lot. We can't seem to see that light at the end of the tunnel. We can't seem to see just what's in front of us or the potential that's in front of us. So you mentioned that you didn't realize you could do this or you do that. You didn't know you could do this and do that. What changed for you? What like was there, for the better term, as we like to say, was there just like this whack across the back of the head that woke you up to it? Like what, or was it like somebody, you caught somebody's podcast or you spoke to somebody that just, you know, made you, hey, hang on a second, let's, why am I doing this? I can give this a go, or I can give that a go. Was there a specific moment or a specific thing, do you think? Or
Mm. I'd like to say that I believed in myself
yep,
and then I just went for it. It
yep,
didn't happen that way, Craig. It
yep,
happened. I fell into things.
yeah, rightio.
And when I say I felt like I just mentioned um I was going, all right, I'll go with the NDS business, right?
Mm,
I needed money. And so
yep,
I jumped onto a website that called Mabel and I registered myself. I
yep,
got a working with children track and I was just looking for anything, right? And it
yep,
was NDS caring. And
mm,
this chap who needed care and I was providing that. And at a point where his parents needed more carers, and I thought,
hmm,
I can't, who do I know that knows this business? And I
mm,
reached out to some guy who was a friend and an acquaintance back in the day and got him to
yep,
organize it. And he did it, hashed it. And then
mm,
I said like, oh, well, if he can, I'd been watching what he was doing. And I'm like, if he can do that, I can do that too. So I
mm,
employed some people and
yep,
got them to do that business. And then
yep,
this was like getting into that phase where NDS businesses and everyone's going, oh my God, there's so much money to be made. Well,
mm,
there was, but my emphasis was on providing quality carers
yep,
so that I wouldn't get bugged. If they were
Yeah.
good at what they did, I wouldn't have to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
And so I, got into this place where I got multiple clients and was turning over, about
Mm,
$6,000 a week and having a really good profit margin.
mm,
And I was able to give people opportunities
mm,
in COVID that otherwise wouldn't have had it. And so
mm,
suddenly this business has just came from nowhere.
mm,
Similarly with hypnotherapy, I
mm.
straight before COVID hit, I did a course in NLP.
Yep.
The last day the presenter had run over time, and we, said part of the course was hypnotherapy, and so
Yep.
here's a sheet of paper in the manual. Go and sit with a partner, and it was a bit more in depth than that, but it wasn't much. It was half an afternoon sitting with a partner and say, okay, and then every reading a script, and then every time that they had a reaction that was sort of like
Mm,
hypnotic, say that's right. And the gentleman across from me was an ex-SAS soldier.
mm.
And, a few minutes in, he's like tongue hanging out and drooling. And I'm like, oh wow, really? Oh, I can do this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm
Yeah.
getting this person I've put up on a pedestal drooling, and he's drooling like a baby. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. And you know, I was actually kind of blessed by COVID
Yep.
because emotionally, I was shattered from
Yep.
the dissolution and the breakdown of the marriage. I was shattered.
Yep.
Father dies, marriage breaks down, lose the job and lose everything,
Yep.
and my whole reality, even the home that I was living in got changed. And so I would wake up at 4:30 every morning, couldn't sleep, and I would
Yep.
go to the early opening cafe at 5 a.m. and I'd meet the owner or there, and I spoke to him this morning. I said goodbye to him as this
Yep.
call started, and I would cry into my coffee, like
Yep.
literally for
Yep.
a certain period of time. I cried into my
Mm,
coffee, and I didn't know who I was or
yep.
what the hell I was going to do. Like I think
Mm,
about this now, and it's giving me these goosebumps again.
yep.
I'm actually feeling emotional about it. Like
Yep.
I was pretty
Yeah.
broken. I felt
Yeah.
pretty, what the fuck am I going to do with my
Yep.
life? And I draw strength from this idea that some of these things that I never would have chosen gave me ideas and gave
Mm,
me experiences that I've drawn from that I wouldn't have chosen. Like the
mm,
business, that business taught me that I could be a businessman, that the
yep.
hypnotherapy taught me that I could do this. These terrible things happening and that I didn't fall apart when I saw examples of men around me killing
Yep.
themselves,
Yep.
suicide, made me think, well, hold on. It seems like there's evidence there that I'm stronger
Mm,
than what I thought I
yep.
was.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know how to say this, like
Mm,
really without, I don't want to come off as arrogant
mm,
or egotistical, but I began to believe in the external evidence that
yep.
pointed to what I believed previously about
Yep.
my limited nature
Yep.
wasn't really true.
Yep. Yep. No, fair call. No, that's good. So one thing you did mention, very, very basic sort of comment you mentioned earlier. Now, this is very relevant to whether you're wanting to somebody wanting to start a business or just get their life on track. You made reference to a colleague, a friend that was doing the NDI, like the care. And you thought, if he can do it, why can't I? And that's the thing. Like I think a lot of people need to, like, if you agree with this, but you need to have that thought process. If someone else can do it, why can't I do the same? Why can't I do that too? If someone's getting themselves back on track after, you know, life-changing events, why can't I do that as well? Everyone can do it. You've just got to want to do it. Oh, I think you might have frozen there, bud. Oh, I think I've frozen. We'll just see if we can get him back on. Just bear with us.
Originally, as he
Yep, you're up.
launching back into what I was talking about, Craig, was I didn't just see someone and think, oh, straight away. if he can
Mm.
do it, I can do it. That took a bit of training,
Oh,
like a bit of
yeah,
experience sort of being drummed into,
yeah,
that, oh, that person's not doing it well. Oh, well, I'll have to step in,
yep,
right? And and it happened in hypnosis as well. It's like,
mm,
oh, that person, I want to help this person. Let's see what I can do. And
yep,
then it worked. And then it really needed to be drummed into me
mm,
from multiple different directions that,
yep,
it's my son, multiple different directions that, here
mm,
he is.
I'm going to the bus.
All right, mate, see ya. Multiple different directions before it began to sink in. And believe me, it's like, it wasn't, hey, you're great at this, and
no,
it needed to come from, and it's like even now, it's still, that internal confidence is only beginning to
mm,
emerge now by the realization that I have
mm,
multiple different areas of irrefutable evidence that
yep,
proves that this is possible. Then my inner ego is still telling me, you can't do this.
yep,
Still telling me, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's only like saying, oh, well, you've done it in this area, you've done it in this area, you've done it in this area. Are you kidding yourself?
yeah,
And I do kid myself.
yeah. No, well, like we're our own, pardon me, we're our own worst critic when it comes to doing things. Like we'll find we'll find all our own flaws. Other
Mm,
people don't see them. We do. We're the ones that see it and just automatically assume that no, we're not good enough. We can't do this. We can't do that.
mm,
People are going to judge us for what we do or what we don't do. So yeah, like at the end of the day, I think you've got to make the attempt to start whatever it is, whether it be changing your direction, changing your career path, getting in and starting in a business. You've got to make that step to get started, no matter what it is, and stop criticizing our own selves. So
mm,
yeah,
mm.
no,
Yeah,
that's all good.
that negative self story,
Yep,
and having trained with some of the same NLP people as I
yep,
have, that we have an imprint period
mm,
where we take on beliefs about ourselves without
yep,
being challenged. And part of what I do in hypnotherapy is really challenging
yep,
those beliefs that were built up before we had what we call the critical faculty. And the critical faculty is what I call the watchdog, right?
yep,
Is this true? Is this not true? And it goes, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and it fights to defend the beliefs that you have about
yep,
yourself, right?
yep,
And in hypnotherapy, I help put the guard dog to sleep so the message can get through.
yep, yep. No, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Mm.
Putting that guard dog to sleep. I love it. I've never heard that phrase. So yeah, that's good. I like it. I like it.
I made that up
Um,
myself, actually.
that's the go. That's the go. Um, have you ever felt this is something that a lot of people I think do face? Have you ever felt pressured or the need to hold it all together when you really don't want to?
I think
Like
I'd be,
when I say a lot of us, I don't know, being like an Italian background, I'm not sure how it was with your upbringing, but I know a lot of people in their upbringing, we're taught to suck it up, just harden up about things, not let our emotions run easy, like flow easy, and what have you. But and it's a big thing that a lot of people still struggle with, I believe.
yeah, I hear you. Um, I never really had voices in my head saying to me, "You got to hold it together. You got to hold it together." But the examples that I had of
Mm.
my father were
Yep,
exactly that. It wasn't the words that you got to hold it
yep,
together. It wasn't like you got to be a man and you got to do
mm.
this. Just his example. He's
Yep,
very stoic
yep,
and you know very, very stoic, and he didn't really show his emotions. Like I
mm.
know it was only in the final years of his life that I'd hug him and he'd squirm, and I
Mm.
got some sort of perverse delight out of hugging my dad and him squirming, and to the point where he would hug me back and tell me he
Yep,
loved me. He told me he loved me more times in the last couple of months than the rest of my life.
yeah,
And
Yep.
I always knew he loved me, but it was
Yeah.
via actions rather than words, you
Yep.
know. And my one of my language of love is words of affirmation.
Yep.
So but ask that question again. Was it
But was
um
it like, did you ever, was there, like, did you ever feel pressured to hold it all together or the need to hold it all together?
all right, there's where I'm blessed, right,
Yep.
Craig? I told you that I was on antidepressant medication
Yep.
for 5 years, and when I
Yep.
came off that antidepressant medication cold turkey, I was like I described it to you, what is it, the Tassie Devil from the Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, yes. It
Yeah.
was loony. Woo!
Yeah.
And I described my life before that as being mediocre,
Yep.
right? And jokingly, the mediocre is where the cream of the crap meets the crap of the cream. And my life was between there. And when I came off that medication,
Mm.
woo, I reckon I probably could have been diagnosed as bipolar at that point.
Yeah.
We're in
Right.
we're in COVID,
Yeah.
and I've got all the excuses in the world, a marriage breakdown, all the people around me, and all those sorts of things. And we're isolated as well.
Yep.
So, I'm going through this major life change or a change of career, change of
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was okay for me to be crying in my coffee.
Yep.
I allowed myself to feel the feelings,
Yep.
like feeling the feelings of being miserable. And I had nobody to tell me, don't be that way.
Yep.
I was allowed to be miserable. I was allowed to be as high as a kite. I
Yep.
mean, some people have commented on it, but to me, it was like I'm out of the prison of mediocre
Yep.
and I'm feeling emotions that I can't remember feeling.
Yep.
I felt alive because I felt miserable at times and
Yep.
excited at other times, and suddenly, I wasn't in a medical prison for want of better
Yeah.
words. And don't get me wrong, I don't tell people if you require antidepressants in order to get you through,
Mm.
absolutely take
Mm.
those. Um, but they're not the solution. They
No.
are the medication. They are the crutch
Yep.
until by hook or crook you can learn how to deal with it,
Yep.
deal with your life. And some people unfortunately don't learn.
No, that's right. That's right. Like, I've been there myself. I know what you're talking about and what you mean with it. And honestly, the best thing I did was get off that crap, and find yourself for your who you are, for your real self. So yeah, it is much better. There is a bigger, better world out there without that stuff. So, but anyway,
Yeah,
fantastic. All right. So now I want to run into my rapid fire segment. So 10
awesome.
questions. Just answer them off the cuff as you go. They're all about this whole thing. But so first one, the hardest truth you've had to face.
Hardest truth I had to face. Still sound odd. I'm way more powerful than I ever believed.
Mm, That's awesome. I like that. Yeah. No, best for that. Perfect. Okay, next one. A song, quote, phrase, or a saying that got you through some tough times.
Uh, there's lots of songs.
Yep.
As soon as I said, yeah, now I thought of the poem Invictus. If you go onto YouTube and listen to Morgan Freeman read the poem Invictus,
Yep.
black as the something that's from pit to pole, goes through and he says, speaks of his unconquerable soul. So just go and read or listen. It goes for about 90 seconds.
Yep.
Morgan Freeman reading the poem Invictus.
Yep. Righto. Too easy. We might even try and put a link to that in there. Biggest misconception about you.
I don't know. What's the biggest misconception about Adrian? Oh, that I'm an extrovert.
There you go. Good one. A daily non-negotiable that keeps you moving forward.
Getting out of bed.
Because that's exactly the way I feel. Yep. That's a non-negotiable. Get out of bed and it keeps me going forward. Yep. A word that describes your lowest point.
Black.
A word that describes your breakthrough.
Light.
No, no. A word that describes who you are now.
Magician.
Sweet, cool. Where are we? What do you tell your inner critic?
When I recognize my inner critics speaking, is this true?
Yep, yep. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Where are we next one? A quote, phrase, or a saying that grounds you.
That listening to Invictus
I know. Yep.
brings me to tears nearly every time.
Sweet.
Um,
Cool.
he speaks of, no matter the harsh consequences, the how dark and black things can be, that he thanks God for his unconquerable soul. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. I'm going to listen to that after. I'm pretty sure I've listened to it before, but last one there. This one is what's one thing that you no longer apologize for?
I'm gonna no longer apologize for. This might be the most difficult question yet. Something I no longer apologize for. Um, I only apologize when it's genuine. So, um, I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that one.
That's all good. A bit of sometimes, yeah, they can be a bit curly for people. So that's all good with those. Now I've just got one final question to finish off with for
Sure.
this whole segment is or the whole interview thing. What would you say to anyone who's listening or watching this right now who feels completely lost or broken and is struggling in silence?
I've had friends who are in similar situations to me before I was, and
Mhm.
I said to them, "You don't know what's possible for you in the next 5 years." And they scoffed as I scoffed.
Yep.
That one guy went from, you know, being he went to from being single to being happily married with children to a woman he'd never met before. Another friend went from a career. Look, it's what can happen in 5 years
Yep.
is absolutely jaw-dropping
Hmm.
if you allow it.
Yep.
If you keep doing the same things, then you'll have 5 years times 1 year of experience.
Yep. Oh, perfect. Absolutely. All right, mate. Well, that wraps it all up. What I'll do is I'll get, or well, when we post this, so if anyone's wanting to reach out to you, you're more than welcome for them, like more than happy for them too. Yeah.
Yep,
So what we'll do, same with all of them, we'll post all your links on a tile at the end of this.
sure.
So people are more than welcome to reach out to you if
Yep.
they feel they resonate with you. But yeah.
I had a bit of a thought the other day, and I have a mortgage payment to make on Thursday, and I was like, oh, I'm behind.
Yeah.
And I suddenly something that I'd parked for a long time was my mind band process for
Yep.
hypnotherapy. And I just parked it because I was like, oh, I'll get to it someday. And
Mm,
then suddenly I had a mortgage payment. So on Thursday, I just whipped around and looked at all the testimonies I'd had from
yep.
past clients with regards to this mind band process.
Yep.
And I put up a post about a client who'd lost 32 kilos after two
Yep.
sessions with me. And I thought of another client who'd lost 69 kilos. And I thought, oh, and I put a social media post out there.
Mm,
And I thought, all I need to do is be consistent. So I put posts out on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
mm.
And I've got a paid in full brand new client
Yeah. Right.
for this process because I just stopped thinking in terms of selling individual
Yep.
sessions and thinking, here's the outcome. that
Yep.
I've achieved with people, and here's the proof via, the social what do they call it? Social proof of
Yep.
clients. Here's their results.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, just be consistent about it. And yeah,
Mm.
I've made more money over the weekend than
Mm.
than I have in some time. Yeah.
That's awesome, isn't it? So yeah. So I like to say, like, hypnotherapy is a powerful thing. Like all, there's so many different things out there. So many different things that we all do that we do is very powerful to be able to help people move in the direction they really need to move in. So
Yeah. It's
um,
really important, it's really powerful that people like yourself, Craig, and myself also have lived experience
yeah,
and have sort of stepped out of the darkness of
yeah,
some awful, horrible periods of life.
absolutely, absolutely. Because it also helps us to resonate and understand the people we're helping, the people we work with. So yeah,
Yeah. And it helps them
that's it.
also to know that because we've been there,
Mhm.
because we have developed the skills
Yep,
to help others and the resilience of our own situation,
yep,
that we truly do offer hope and
yep.
solutions.
No, that's it. That's it. 100%, mate. 100%. So yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, that concludes all that. So as I said, Adrian's links will be up at the end of on a tile at the end of this video. So by all means, reach out to him if you feel compelled to. And again, Adrian, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate taking the time out of your day to join us on this.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to revisit some past history with a bit of light instead of the
Yep.
darkness that it was
Yep.
at the time.
No, that's it. It's always good that way, isn't it? Looking at it in different perspectives. So yeah. Fantastic, man.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.